And as far as like say personal statement, um, I don't even, I mean, I've thought about it and I know I've done personal statements for when I applied for undergrad. Um, but how should I be approaching that? I know, just given my background, I think that's what makes me so nervous that given my background, I know a couple other people that have gotten into law school with my background, but they said, you really need to focus and go into intellectual property, and that's not so much where my interest lies. And I don't necessarily want to get pigeonholed into picking one specific area. And not because I have a science major, do I necessarily want to work in the science industry, if that makes sense, or the tech industry. That's just what my background is, and I worked there, but I'd like to pursue other things as well.
Sure, that's fine. I mean, you can, once you get into law school, you can do whatever you want. You
Okay.
can go into any field. Law schools know that folks frequently change their areas of interest and the practice areas that they're considering over time. I mean, law school, in a way, is one of the benefits of law school is that it exposes you to a wide variety of
Okay.
types of law. So there's no such
Okay.
thing as getting pigeonholed, really. I mean, it's possible that when you meet people, they might pigeonhole you there in their perceptions
Yeah.
based on seeing your resume and your background, but it's
Oh,
your
that's
choice what you
true.
do. I mean, a lot of law school classes are requirements, but then in terms of electives, you can choose whatever you want down the line and you can apply for whatever jobs you want after you get out. And so
Okay.
you can keep it pretty open ended. Or I could see a strategic argument for framing your background with the intellectual property and the science, because that is relatively more unique than your typical pre-law political science major. So law schools like
Yeah.
people with science backgrounds. They like people who have that more technical understanding because
Okay.
your employment prospects are maybe a bit better than someone who fits a more standard stereotypical pre-law background.
Okay. So
It's
I
your
guess I
choice how
have
to it's your
had
choice how
some.
to handle it though.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's good to know because I think I've just had some misinformation coming my way, or maybe I was interpreting it the wrong way. Yeah. So yeah, that makes me feel a lot better, a little more confident. I'm still really nervous, but I think that with your course and all the reviews I've seen, that I'll be successful. And I did get the subscription through Law Hub, so I have access to the exams now as well.
That's great. I mean, you definitely want to have those. I want to circle back to the application question for another moment. I'd love to get a little bit more from you about, you said what you don't want to do, or that you're not, what you're not
Mhm.
super interested in.
Yeah.
What are you interested in? What does appeal to you more?
So one of the areas that really does appeal to me is immigration law and contract law, which probably seem like two very different things. Immigration laws, it's more so because of my background. My family is from El Salvador. My parents, they both immigrated here with nothing, and they produced two pretty successful children. So I'd like to give back to my community in that way. And contract law, just because through engineering, I have a civil engineering degree. I worked a lot on the construction side of things. I worked on so on the office administration side, so managing the contract. So we had a lawyer reviewing all our documents, and he had an engineering undergrad, and he went on to pursue his law degree, and his focus was just reviewing all the contract documents that we had with the different people working on site. So that's one of the few times that I have like that has further sparked my interest and said yes, like I really can do this.
That's
Um,
amazing. That's fantastic. I mean, definitely so many things about your background can help you with your law school admissions process and help you with your legal career in general. So when I said earlier, I could see a strategic argument for highlighting the engineering and the IP stuff
mhm.
as a possibility for where
Okay.
you might take things after law school. I didn't necessarily mean that in a disingenuous way, but rather simply that you have a variety of options in terms of how exactly you choose to highlight what you want to do. So instead of saying, you know what, I'm super inspired to work in the field of immigration due to my background. That's really where my interests lie. The engineering stuff, I'm going to leave it all behind and throw it out. I wouldn't go that route. I'm saying instead, I think there's a way to do it authentically where you talk about your engineering background and what you've been exposed to with contracts, and also how you're inspired because of your background, because of your experiences, to also have an immigration element to what you do potentially.
Okay.
So maybe the engineering and the contract stuff could be the focus of a personal statement. And then the immigration elements or angles could be part of a diversity statement. And you can allude to how those things may tie together. So for example, maybe helping folks get green cards to come to the US to work in engineering, let's say, just to make something. I don't know all the details, but that's just one potential route you might take.
That is.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.